Hi boys and girls, it's Mrs. and Mr. Koch for our science experiment for this week. So last week we did our Koch and Mentos and we had the Koch rocket, and this week I thought we would do some more stuff about rockets. So the first experiment that we did was launch a Coke bottle with some compressed air. So here's that video now. Mr. Koch has the empty pop bottle here and some other pieces on top of it. And what's this green hose?
Compressed air.
Okay. So, Mr. Koch is covered in water now because there was water in the bottle. So what happened was, as he pushed on the hose that had a lot of really pressurized air, the hose had air that was pushed really hard into the bottle. And eventually, as more and more air was pushed into the bottle shot right up into the air and actually landed in the neighbor's lawn. We had to go get it. So they were okay with it because it was for science experiment. So that was pretty fun. For today's experiment, what we're going to do is we're going to launch some actual rockets that Mr. Koch has. So he's going to explain how these rockets work. Can we see the whole rocket?
Yeah, for sure.
Pretty cool.
So the engine goes in there.
Mm-hmm.
So it shoots up, and as the engine starts to burn, it shoots the rocket up. And then when the engine is almost done burning, it pops the top off, and it pulls out a parachute. Pulls out, and then it should fall back gently back to the ground, like that.
So Mr. Koch has put this metal stick here into the ground, and the rocket's going to sit on top of it. And then down here,
that would be the plate that the rocket would push against so that it doesn't burn the ground.
So you can see we've launched a couple rockets already in the past like this, and so these are marks where the rocket has burnt onto this metal. Because it's going to push off, and that engine is going to cause some fire, yeah, to go onto here, and that's why it kind of looks burnt. So that's what's going to happen. It's going to ignite and go on here, and it's going to go up, and then up into the sky.
So this is the fuse for the rocket, and we put the two electrical leads here, and it's going to ignite the rocket engine. So we put it in like that. And then you take the plug that holds the fuse in, and you push it in there, just like that. Now we're ready to go. So we have the electrical leads hooked up to the fuse on the rocket down there. And we've got this starter for the fuse here. You put the key in, the safety key, and you push it in a bit harder, and maybe you can see that light. Mm-hmm. And then you press this button, and it's going to go up in the air.
3, 2, 1!
Blast off!
Well, the rocket went up into a tree in the neighbor's house, so Mr. Koch and my brother had to go and get it. So they're coming back now, and I'm going to hear from them how difficult it was to get it out of the tree because it flew up so high and we weren't expecting that.
So we got the rocket back. This very nice man got his painter's pole and got it out of the top of the tree. And he hooked it down and we got it back. So the parachute popped up fine. And we got everything back, and here's the engine after. And you see it's all burnt.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And it was in there. Very cool. Thank you, Mr. Koch.
That was fun.
Woohoo! Wow, didn't that rocket go so high? We were not expecting it to go so high. It was so cool. You couldn't even see it on the camera, but it did slowly come down, and the parachute did come out like Mr. Koch showed us before, but you couldn't even see it on the camera because it was so far away. I'm sorry, I really tried to capture it, but It was really cool that it went so high up and that we couldn't see it. I couldn't even see it for a really long time, so I'm not surprised that the camera couldn't get it either. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching the rocket experiments, and those are rockets that we bought, so neither of those things are really something you could do at home, but I hope you just enjoyed watching them. And yeah, so that's all this week for Science with Mrs. Koch, and I hope you have a great week. Bye!